Hey there, my fellow designers and creatives. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another video in my mega product design course for beginners. In this video, we're going to look at part 2 of the case study series on how to write a case study. Today, I'm going to show you a really amazing, phenomenally well-written case study and explain so many important things that you need to do when you write a case study. Now, before I get started, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave a like on the video if you haven't done already. And of course, check out part 1 of this as well. Now, as a bonus, because a lot of you have been requesting this, I'm also going to be releasing part 3 as well soon. So make sure to check out for that as well. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this is a case study written by Sargam on one of the projects she worked on in the company she works at, which is Yocket. And I'm going to take you through the entire case study and I'm going to explain all the perfect things that she's done. What are things that you can really learn from when writing case studies? All right. So I'm going to read the entire case study and try to see if I understand a lot of the things that she has written and explain things along the way as well. Okay. So improving the first time user experience on Yocket, a case study. Now, this is so important because this really explains what is it that you're designing. I've seen a lot of people who actually go ahead and title their case studies in a weird way. They just say redesign. They just say UI UX. They say landing page case study, right? That is not the way you actually want to title a case study. You actually want to mention something very critical about it. What is the problem that you're trying to solve? Or maybe the solution or what you did for a specific set of users, right? So here in this case, Sargam is actually improving the first time user experience, or also called as FTUX in the design world out there, on Yocket, a case study, right? So let me take you through the process of redesigning Explore, a Yocket feature that helps students find universities. Super crisp, super short, very straightforward and to the point. So she's also got a mockup over here, which is a super high resolution mockup. Very important, very amazing. And by the way, if you haven't checked out my video on how to export images for case studies on Medium, highly recommend you check out that video. So we've got a mobile version and a web version. She's just showing a preview over here. So that's fine. So now we can go ahead and move forward. Okay. So a quick introduction about herself. As a product designer at Yocket, I have been working on the platform for over a year. And one of my first major projects was to redesign Explore with enhanced functionality and user experience. So Find Explore is the name of the feature. That's cool. And also quick introduction about the company. This is setting context because it's important to do this when you're telling a story. Yocket is an edtech company that provides a platform to help students who are interested in studying abroad. And I'm going to just zoom in a little bit over here so that we can see things in a little bit more detail. So she has very neatly bolded the sentence where she's talking about the target users. So it's basically a platform to help students who are interested in studying abroad, right? Now, as of the moment, this is quite vague because this is about Yocket as a company and not the particular feature, but she's just setting some context. All right. Anytime you have a big paragraph and you want to highlight information, definitely bold it. It's very easy for the user to just read that. The company offers features and resources that make it easier for students to find universities, connect with fellow students, track their application progress, and more on. So I think it's just some sort of a platform where you can do everything that you need before going abroad. Overall, Yocket's mission is to simplify the study abroad process and make it more accessible. Cool. In this case study, I will be focusing on finding universities part of a students study abroad journey. So I think she's bolded this and this is amazing because she's clearly mentioning at which stage or what type of user is she solving for, right? So she's saying that I'll be focusing on finding the universities part of a student's study abroad journey. And I think she's definitely given some context over here, which is first one is to search for universities, then you apply to them, then you get accepted and then you enroll, and then you get your visa and accommodation, and then of course you fly to the university, right? So setting this context in a very nice way is really important, right? Because this feature is for what purpose? Who are the target users, right? So in this case, she's focusing on people who are finding the universities, and I'm sure she's going to go into more detail on it, but this is so important to set this context, right? Great. Now, Yocket's Explore module is a comprehensive guide to universities worldwide. So now she's explaining what is Yocket. So she started off with herself, what the company does, a little bit about the feature or the stage at which this user is in. And then finally, she's coming down to what is Yocket really. So it's a comprehensive guide to universities worldwide. It has information on courses, tuition fees, scholarships, and rankings. All right, that's fine. With over 1,000 universities to choose from, Explore provides a convenient way for users to search and compare universities. Students can start their application journey by shortlisting universities that they're interested in and applying to them, right? So it's very neat that she has actually gone ahead and highlighted and bolded the words over here, as you can see over here, which clearly convey what is Yocket used for, right? And she's used bullet points, so make sure you always use bullet points when you're conveying things in points. It's very easy to read and understand. All right, so search and compare universities and then shortlisting universities. Okay, now this is my favorite part, which is obviously understanding the problem space, and we can go into more details. So with more than 1,000 users, students visiting Explore daily. So this is so nice that she's actually gotten some data and information from her team, and she's saying that at least 1,000 people visit Explore daily, right? So this shows how important this feature is, because if 1,000 people are visiting daily, that is a lot of traffic, right? Getting this module right was critical, obviously, definitely, because 1,000 people are exploring it daily. So we identified a few significant problems with the current working of Explore, right? So there were a few problems, and let's look at it. So with a database of 1,000 plus universities, the filtering system was broken. Okay, I'm guessing she's going to show proof and evidence of all of this later on, but let's just continue. It was difficult for students to find and use filters, making it hard for them to quickly narrow down results. All right. Poor search experience, quite vague, but I guess she'll get into more details later. The university card lacked a clear information hierarchy and did not highlight the key data points. This must be some UI thing. Some students were asked for their course and country preferences during onboarding, which is quite obvious given that the process of studying abroad is quite long. The platform did not show personalized content to repeat users. All right, that's good. And the layout in which the results were displayed was ineffective, and students would have to scroll endlessly, right? Now, the thing is that we're getting a vague idea of what the problem statements are, but until we see the old design and the new design and the explanation, we'll never understand, but we're getting some idea, right? Explore is the first place on the Yocket platform where most students land on to start the study abroad journey. It's nice that she's gone ahead and made these like callouts. So it's so important for the user to understand what is the most important thing to take away, right? So she's saying that Explore is the first place where most students land on to start the study abroad journey. This is critical information. So we wanted to improve two key business metrics through Explore, all right? Obviously, very important to mention why you're designing this feature. Why are you redesigning something? Why are you fixing something? It's important to mention all the things that, you know, you're sort of going ahead and solving for the user, but how does this help business, right? That is also very important to mention. So improve retention. Now, I've seen a lot of case studies where people mention metrics, but they don't really go ahead and mention why they are improving that metric, right? And she's given a beautiful explanation over here. We saw that the students who shortlist universities, right? Now, I don't know what shortlist is. We'll look at it. When we saw that students who shortlist universities on Explore tend to come back to Yocket as they found the universities they were looking for and were ready for the next and they were ready to perform the next steps. So it's so important that she's saying that this feature is very important because it makes users come back to Yocket again and again because they shortlist their universities. So there's an image over here. So I think this, I'm guessing, looks like the university card or a course card. I don't know what really this is, but it's fine. And then basically this is shortlisted and students are added to group chats where they can connect with other students, and students can start their application process by using the list of shortlisted university along with application deadlines, right? So cool. Now it's common sense, right? Like if you shortlist and select your universities, the next step for you is to go to talk to people, whatever may be the process of applying, that will happen. Okay. The next one is increasing number of universities shortlisted. All right, that is another metric. We wanted to improve the number of students shortlisting universities and the amount of time taken to shortlist them. All right, this is quite important, I would say, the amount of time taken to shortlist them, because if the first step itself takes you so much time, then you're going to lose interest in the product and you might not come back again. All right, let's move forward. We wanted to improve a few more metrics, which I have mentioned at the end of the case study. I'm guessing these are not the key metrics, but some other additional metrics. So we can look at that later, right? But the most important thing is to improve retention, improve the number of shortlisted universities and the amount of time taken, right? With these goals in mind, it then becomes easy for you to actually go ahead and design the solution, right? And as you can see, she's very neatly, beautifully telling the story piece by piece. So again, let me repeat. She started off with herself, quick introduction about the product, the quick user flow over here to set context, then quickly going into, what the feature is about, then understanding the problem space. All right. Now she's getting to the solutions, I guess. But yeah, Cool. Then we have design process and challenges, right? And I've seen a lot of people who just put so much unnecessary information that makes no sense, like, random wireframes, random empathy maps, all of this, right? And here it is so crisp and concise, right? So through Explore, we worked on developing the Yocket design system. Each component had to go through multiple iterations before it could be added to the system. And this was a challenging process, but one that ultimately paid off as we were able to create a comprehensive design system, right? So she's talking about one of the challenges that she had over here. To design the Explore feature, I analyzed websites that effectively utilize design patterns such as filters and search. Although I also conducted a competitive analysis, there were no direct competitors with a simple feature, obviously. Therefore, I looked at other websites that had implemented these patterns extensively to guide my design decisions, right? So I think what she's trying to say is that even though there were no competitors, she was looking at other products, as she's mentioned over here, for various design patterns such as filters and search, right? So yeah, I created multiple versions of each flow and prototype them to evaluate their performance in order to identify the one that was most effective, right? So it's so simple and crisp when she's talking about her design process here, where she worked on she contributed to the design system, did some competitive analysis. And of course, we already have a lot of information in terms of data as well, because she's mentioned, the database of universities, number of students are coming in. So there's a lot of information she already has. All right. Next, she's just showed a couple of iterations. So as you can see, it takes a lot of time to, put together a feature like this. I'm guessing all of these are iterations. And of course, this is what happens when you work in a company. This is how you work. You have to iterate and come up with a lot of solutions. And sometimes it's hard. Okay, so now we're getting into the solutions. So the first one is the filtering system, ensuring that students can quickly find what they were looking for with the help of filters was the primary focus. Obviously, letting users use filters. All right. So I think the first problem of the filtering system was improving the discoverability of filters. The first thing users would do on Explore is filter, then browse universities, of course. In the old version of Explore, the filters were hidden in a side modal, which was a poor experience as it reduced discoverability of filters. It is so critical for anybody to mention what is the problem with the current solution or with the current design. Here, she's very clearly saying that in the old version, it was a poor experience as it reduced discoverability of filters, right? And she's even showed an image over here. All right. So obviously, this is a side modal, as we all can see, and having filters in a side modal reduces discoverability. And the primary action is to quickly filter the university list, right? Makes a lot of sense. By making the filters available in the primary view, students can quickly access the filters, narrow down the results, quite obvious. It also helps students understand how to search for universities if they are unsure where to begin, right? It's so important that she's actually explaining the user's behavior over here, right? First of all, users will want to filter and narrow down. And second, it helps them understand how to search for universities if they are unsure to begin. She's explaining why it is important to improve the filtering experience, right? She's neatly mentioning what the problem is, showing evidence and proof of that, and explaining why it needs to be solved, right? This is beautiful storytelling. And now I think she's showing the final design. And I think something that's very interesting that I observed over here is that she's using this gray background for old design and orange background for new design, which quickly enables anybody reading this to quickly understand what is the new design, what is the old design. I think it's a pretty cool trick, and it's very well presented over here. Things are nicely center aligned, good hierarchy. She's showing the web design, which means I'm also guessing she's going to show the mobile versions, but let's check that out. And then there's a nice divider. It looks very well polished. Presenting your work is as important as, designing good screens, right? It shows a lot of skill, craft, and attention to detail, right? So I really appreciate that. Okay. So, filters are shown up front. All right. So now there's no side modal. Everything is over here. Cool. Now, although this is a very small fix, right? There can be a lot more things that she might have done. So let's just get into that. And now she's showing the mobile version as well. So the filters are here up front. I'm not going to read any of this because I think it's quite self-explanatory. But yeah, cool. Then grouping of dependent filters. In the old version of Explore, again, just look at the storytelling. Problem with the old design, reason why it is important, and the, evidence of the old design, and then the solution, and then, evidence for that as well, right? And as you can see, she's not given so much unnecessary useless information. It's just simple, short paragraphs, and everything that I want to understand as a recruiter or a senior designer, I can just look at the screens and learn from there, right? So anyway, grouping of dependent filters. All right. In the old version of Explore, there was no clear distinction between the parent and child filters. So for example, the average course tuition fee, course tuition fee filter is disabled until a course is selected from the courses filter. And there was no way for the user to know that. There was no way for the user to know this in the old version of Explore. So here we have an image, and she's saying that there is no indication that a course needs to be selected to enable selection of tuition fee. Right? So it means that tuition fee is dependent on course, and you can't select average tuition fee unless you select a course. And I think that is not visually present here in the old design. All right. So that's fine. In the new design, I decided to group these filters, making it obvious that they have a parent-child relationship. I love the way she's used the phrases like parent-child relationship. From this new design, it is clear that the average course tuition fee can be selected only if a course is selected, right? Simple paragraph, everything is explained, right? It's so easy to understand. And I think, of course, we have information like a visual evidence over here. So grouping of parent-child filters. So now you have course together and then the average course tuition fee. All right, let's move forward. She also has another image, which one is after a course has been selected, the tuition fee filter is enabled. All right, she's just showing the multiple states. So that's fine. This is after she's added computer engineering over here. Anyway. Okay. All right. So on the mobile, the tuition fee has a tuition fee filter progressively loads after a course has been selected. So basically what that means is, okay, so you have, you mentioned the course over here, you select your course and then this progressive disclosure, right? And she's using the exact term, which is progressive disclosure over here. So that is good. All right. And I think the storytelling here is beautiful. It's so simple. Context of the old problem, why it is a problem, evidence, the solution, and the evidence for the solution, right? Super simple. And as you can see, there's barely any text over here. And that's great because I'm just learning so much just by looking at the image and not even reading much about the text. All right. If the user selects multiple countries, all right, the location filter, I think this is another example, I'm guessing. So this is to do with the location filter. By adding the location filter as a child of the country filter, it is easier to show the relationship. So even though this text feels like a little bit confusing, we just have to look at the UI over here. So basically, maybe I can just zoom in a little bit more. So here, I think she's saying that the location filter is disabled and cannot be selected if multiple countries are selected. All right, so this is a different use case where if you select more than one country, then you cannot add a location to that country. Obviously, makes a lot of sense because if you've chosen USA and Australia, what location are you going to put, right? It makes sense only if it's for one country. All right, perfect. Cool, then let's go forward. Then grouping of filters. And this is only when one country is selected. So that's fine. You've selected United States of America and then you have California, which is obvious, right? So she's showing, and what you can see here are the edge cases that happen when, you're going ahead and designing solutions. So that's also very important. Always show very important edge cases in your solution. All right. Of course, now she's quickly shown the mobile versions as well. Same pattern, nothing too different over here, I guess. So let's move forward. Okay. Now the second area, improved search functionality. The search experience in the old version of Explore was missing the auto predict, and the overall look and feel of the search was also needed improvement. All right. So missing auto predict, I guess this is auto suggestions, and the overall look and feel. In just one line, she's mentioned the problem. Very simple, straightforward. With such a large database of universities and courses available on Explore, I wanted to ensure students could easily locate what they were looking for quickly and easily. So what problem are you solving, and what is the end out of it? So here there's an image, no prompt to let users know what they can search for. All right, looks quite plain and empty. Of course, there we go. Okay, so solution she came up with. So decreasing the chances of a no results page. I think this is pretty cool. It's always irritating when you search for something and then you get no results. So how do you prevent that? I think solving that is a really cool problem. So the previous version of Explore had a search feature that did not provide suggestions or assistance if the search query did not mention any results, right? It's so nice. She's only talking about problems, user behavior, solution, problems, user behaviors, and solutions. I think that's great. So keep it very simple and straightforward and to the point. The updated version includes an autocomplete feature. all right, that provides suggestions as the user. Now, to be very honest, even when reading this, I don't even feel like reading this. I just want to look at the images and understand, right? That's how amazing this case study is, right? So it's very important that there's a good balance of visuals and good balance of text over here, right? So, and she's even given examples, right? It's so easy when, you give examples. So for example, if a user searches for computing, all right, they can choose from suggestions in a dropdown or see all the results on the results page, right? Of course, it reduces errors and saved a lot of time by not having to type out the entire query, right? So what is the end impact? What was the solution? What did it do? She's highlighted that, right? So let's look at this. So you have computing over here. And then it says searching for computing in universities, in courses. So all of these are courses, MSc in computing, whatever. Then you have North. So you have Northern State University, Boston, and all of these things. So she's so clearly, neatly mentioned with these beautiful UI elements over here, and it looks amazing. Searching within categories. In the updated version of Explore, the search results are labeled either as course and university. Yeah, we already saw that, course or university, to make it easier, right? This categorization makes it for the user to skim through the results faster. Absolutely. Students can search for query within a query. Okay, I don't know what this means, but let's see. For instance, they can search for all tourism courses as well as tourism universities separately. All right. So if I type tourism, search within a category. Of course, we can search for tourism within universities or courses. And also you can see over here that they added categories over here. So in tourism, we have a course, which is MSc in international tourism. And you also have hotel and tourism management in Switzerland, right? So that is also pretty cool. So this is clearly an edge case that we see over here. And I think this is quite common because there might be a lot of overlaps between university name and course names as well. All right, so this is great. Here's what the search feature looks like in action. Oh my God, I can't believe she actually put a GIF. I think this is fast forwarded because to reduce the file size or whatever, but I think she's clearly mentioning, let's look at it again. So she types in something and then she can hover on it. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then she can, scroll through these things. So this is great. She's actually showing you a working version of this. And I think she took this from the actual website, and this is not a prototype. So it's so easy for the user to understand what's happening without even have to click on anything or, go through a prototype, right? So that is beautiful. Amazing. Then next, moving on to university and course cards. The cards are the most important part of Explore. I can obviously imagine. They contain all the information that students are looking for. Let's go with the various card iterations. All right. So this is the first time she's actually showing iterations. So let's see. So the university cards. The university cards include all information required for students to gain an overview of a specific university, obviously. Students can make more informed decision about which university to consider by using data points such as the university rank. So she's just explaining what the university card is for. And I just want to look into the visuals. So, okay, so this is something interesting, right? So this is the old design. And then now she's saying iteration 1 and iteration 2. And I'm sure she might have done a lot more iterations, but I think she's only showing the ones that are the most relevant or the ones or are the ones that are worth showing, right? It makes no sense to show iterations that are absolutely useless. I think just show iterations that, are pretty nice. All right. So honestly, I'm not going to go into the details of it. She's quickly and neatly highlighted and underlined, the key phrase of that. And I think just by looking at it as a senior designer, I think it's quite straightforward as to why a particular iteration did not work. And then I want to see the new one. All right. So we have the final university card over here. And I think she's shown it in the mobile view. So I think this is fine. Okay, let's move forward. Then we have course cards. So there's a difference between a university card and a course card. And I think the course cards include all necessary information about a course. Absolutely makes sense, right? So a university is about the university and the course card is about course information, which is pretty cool. So she's done the same thing again. She's shown a couple of iterations. I'm not going to get into too much detail. And then we have the final course card, which actually looks pretty neat compared to the initial version. Like this is the old design, looks pretty bad. And the new one looks a lot better. Okay. Now we have the fourth one, which is displaying the results. One of the most difficult aspects of this project was to create the results page. All right, let's see why. as the displayed data set was huge, I wanted students to be able to browse to the results page easily, right? Of course. So I think filtering is quite easier. Creating the cards are a little bit easier. But then I think actually now looking at the information and understanding which university to pick, how to compare, I think this is the main use case of this entire feature. And I think she's kept the best for the last. So let's look at it. There are multiple ways in which students can filter. I think, okay, this is great storytelling. So she's setting context and giving information. There are multiple ways in which students can filter using the course and country filters, right? So you can filter by just one country, more than one country, up to 3 countries, okay? You can just pick one course or multiple courses, one country and one course, 2 or more countries. So basically she's putting all the permutation combinations over here. And I think that's because she's explaining that over here. So based on the above filtering patterns, only case 1, 3, 5 displayed results in an orderly manner. So 1 is just one country, 3 is one course, and 5 is one country and one course, right? I think this is very obvious that when you just filter for one country, it's easy to show results, and you select for one course and then one country and one course, right? I think that's easy. If they used any other filtering pattern, which is 2, 4, 6, 7, the way the results were being displayed was incorrect. And let me demonstrate with examples and visuals, right? So that's beautiful. So one country and 2 courses are selected, okay? And the user filters university list by selecting USA from the country filter, computer science and electrical engineering for course filter. Now she's actually giving a valid use case and an actual example to explain this. I'm just going to look at the image. So basically in the image, you have computer science in USA, which is purple. So computer science in USA, and just look at the way she's explained this, right? It's not a full low fidelity wireframe. It's not a super high fidelity as well. And she's just shown what is important for me to understand. Okay. Then you have electrical engineering courses in USA. So we have computer science in USA and electrical engineering in USA. So based on that, I think I can understand that in computer science in USA, you have 9 results. And then now you have to scroll down to view electrical engineering in USA, which is quite crazy. That's a lot of scroll. And there's a good chance that people might not even know that you have to scroll down, right? And of course, this is the old design, right? So anyway, as the number of selected courses and countries increased in the applied, so does the number of sections on the results page. So it's quite obvious, right? That if you have just for one combination, you have so many, but what if you have 3 countries and 3 courses? You know, that would be ridiculous. And I think, oh, that's great. She's actually explained that over here. If 3 courses and 3 countries are applied, there should be 9 sections that the user would have to scroll through to find a university of a particular combination. I think this is phenomenally explained because if you look at the way she's explained the problem, she's beautifully set context, taken an example, shown proof of that, and then summarized that and said this is a solution that is not scalable. I think that is amazing storytelling. All right. So, and I think she's taking another example. Similarly, if 1 course and 2 countries are chosen. So in this case, it's computer science in USA and computer science in Canada, right? It's the same course, but in different countries. And here it is different courses in the same country, right? Okay. So in this case also you would face the same problem. I think she's just reiterating that. Okay, so there are some iterations I did to solve the problem. So now she's getting into the problem solving aspect of it. How did she solve? And I think she's done a couple of, iterations over here. So the first one is using tabs, right? So in this iteration, the selected courses would become tabs, which universities from selected courses are displayed. If 3 courses and 3 countries are displayed, it would have a shuffled list of universities from, okay, all right. I think I'm just going to look into the image. I think that's easier. Let me read this as well. Students who have to read each card to determine whether a university was located in the United States, Canada, or Germany, which should not solve the problem of finding universities more quickly, right? Right. So if you look at this, so basically computer science in USA, computer science in Canada, and computer science in Germany, right? And of course, this is absolutely crazy because you have computer science, you have human interaction design, and then you have data analytics. So she's taken 3 countries and 3 courses. But then it's so hard to figure out the countries over here because all of them are jumbled and it makes absolute sense. I think this is great that she tried this concept. The next one is using accordions. this did not visually appear. This did not appear visually appealing. And for 3 courses in 3 countries, a user would have to collapse and expand. I'm just going to look at the design. So if she picked computer science in Canada over here, if she's picked computer science in Canada, I think this is the 9th one. And of course, having a design like this is quite ridiculous and it's definitely not going to work. It's too many clicks, right? And it's so hard to scroll up and down and stuff. And it's pretty crazy. So showing universities from all countries in the accordion was also ineffective. Now, the great thing is look at the storytelling. She's actually summarizing the problem at every stage. So she's summarizing the problem here. She's summarizing the problem here. And I think that's super great storytelling. All right. Showing universities, of course. All right. I think she's just summarizing the solution, the problem over here. Okay. Now, if you have computer science in USA, computer science in Canada, computer science in Germany, then of course it's going to be a huge mess where you've just selected human computer interaction, data analytics, and computer science. Again, here it's jumbled, right? So I think this is great. So what she's done is the first one, she used tabs. Now, because that didn't work, she went with breaking them individually, but that went ahead and created 9 different categories. And so to solve this, she's gone ahead and just broken down them to 3, but she's not solving the problem of, going ahead and separating the countries as well, right? All of these are computer science, which makes sense because it's computer science, but this is a mix of USA, Canada, and Germany, right? So it becomes hard to compare. It's like comparing apples versus oranges, right? So, okay, now we have the final solution, which is great. In this final solution, I added a toggle feature that allows students to view different combinations, all right? It allows students to see the results for one combination at a time rather than seeing the results of all permutation combinations at once. This does not overwhelm the user. It's so great that she's actually highlighting these things because I want to read these things, right? It allows students to see the results one combination at a time rather than seeing results for all permutations at once. This does not overwhelm the students and makes browsing easier. And of course, this is great. She's actually shown a GIF of that. Of course, it's fast forwarded. I will try to understand what's happening. So she's adding the countries and she's adding the courses as well, which is pretty nice. And now there are these drop downs which you can select. So now you're focusing on only at one combination at a time, which actually makes a lot of sense because this is how I would do it as well. And I wouldn't want everything, right? So I can compare the pricing, I can compare a lot of other information and things like that. I think this is great. And showing this as a GIF proves that she's actually taken a problem, designed a solution, handed it off to the devs, shipped it into production as well. And that is phenomenal. Final solution on mobile. Okay, I'm guessing it should be the same. So in the mobile version of Yocket, it was necessary to take a different approach. All right, this is interesting. In the mobile version, it was necessary to take a different approach to toggle experience due to limitations of a smaller screen size. I think this is great. I think every sentence that she's written is so filled with value and information to the reader. Nothing is useless. So I'm curious to understand what were the limitations. All right. So on the web, toggle buttons may be more convenient for users to interact with. Okay. But on mobile, this experience can be tedious and time consuming. Okay. I would definitely love to see solutions. So on mobile, when a student selects 3 countries and 3 courses, there is a section for each. Actually, I'm just going to look at the design. So, okay. So she's adding everything over here. So she's added 3 countries and 3 courses. And now she has 3 different tabs, which is for USA, Canada, and Germany. All right. And I guess that let's try to look at this again. Okay, so you have 3 different sections and you have a horizontal scroll. All right. Oh, so this means that the user can actually go ahead and look at one section at a time, which is, I think, pretty good, right? Anyway, it's quite hard to judge over here. But then from a logical standpoint, at least it makes a lot of sense to me. Okay. So then impact, things that everybody almost misses. And it's important to just clearly mention what the impact is in a logical way. Don't just put random stuff over here. Anyway, our redesign of Explore had a positive impact on the user experience. All right. Because Explore is an acquisition channel for Yocket. All right. We saw a significant number of an increase in signups. All right. So this is amazing. So this not just improved the experience of existing users, it increased signups from Explore as students wanted to shortlist universities. So I'm guessing that when students try to shortlist universities, they might have to sign up in order to shortlist. So, oh, this is so great. Like if you sort of put this in, I mean, it would have been nice to sort of see a chart that if users were able to search faster and compare faster and finalize faster and shortlist faster, they would be able to sign up faster, which is very important for Yocket. And these weren't even the things that they wanted to improve on, but it happened, which is great. The percentage of universities shortlisted, indicating that students were able to find shortlisted universities more easily, which is great. And additionally, we saw an increase in the number of students visiting the university and course pages. Of course, those university and course cards will lead you to certain pages. Of course, they are cards, you can click on them, as well as a significant increase in the usage of filters, right? So this is great. So we've reached the end. During this project, I developed my design process and learned that every project has its own unique challenges. I came to understand that product design is a collaborative process, cycle of feedback, and I try to refine and improve the design. I would have highlighted this, but it's okay. It's not important. Through this experience, I gained the confidence to approach any problem with logical reasoning and appreciation for various considerations that go into creating a useful and usable design, right? So you can find it on Twitter. You can check out, it's a live thing, so you can check it out here on Yocket itself, which is pretty cool. And they also have a blog. All right, so that's pretty much it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comment sections down below. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more amazing, awesome content. And I'll see you guys in my next video. So till then, take care and bye-bye.